There are small things that you can do right now that will help you instead of sitting in self-pity. Do you love yourself enough to do those things? Hello, welcome. This video is about how you can learn to help yourself because unfortunately no one is coming to save you. I think the first thing that you need to get your head around is that you need to accept that no one cares. This isn't to be harsh, I'm just trying to say, yes, you'll have people in your life who care about you, who love you, who want the best for you, and it will hurt them if you're struggling and you're going through something and they can't help you. But it comes down to, you are the only one who can do anything to help yourself. You have to make that decision to help yourself. These people who love you, they don't feel everything you feel. They don't live in your head. They don't know what it's like. If I'm going to give an example of this, when I was in active addiction, I was constantly drinking and I was waking up every day feeling like a zombie, really badly hungover, feeling just awful and like spiritually depleted, emotional, so sick, feeling empty, hollow. And the people around me, they loved me, but they couldn't fix it for me. People cared about me, but I was still sick. I was still in that mess. And they didn't know what it was like day after day, waking up, feeling that awful feeling. I think most people know what it's like to be hungover, but this was just like a whole other level. So you need to accept the fact that you might feel awful and you might be feeling so trapped in your situation. Even the people who love you can see how bad it is. They can't actually feel the whole weight of it. They don't know how bad it is. You are the only one who can help yourself. So you need to get it into your head that yes, people care, but also they don't care, and you need to be the one who cares most about yourself. I talk more about this a little bit in my video, Stop Trying to Get Everyone to Understand You, which I'll link up there if you want to watch that. You need to get it into your head that no one cares, only you can fix it. Which leads us on to, you are the one who can make that big decision to help yourself, to say, no, you know what? I'm fed up of living this way. As it was with me, I was fed up with my addiction. Fed up is the wrong word, but do you know what I mean? I was just like, oh, this is the end now. I can't deal with it anymore. Whether it's you're suddenly like, I need to put my mental health first, or I need to stop working so much because I'm completely burnt out. I need to stop putting this pressure on myself to look a certain way or to eat a certain thing. I had to decide to drag myself out of that mess, out of my addiction. I was the only one who could feel how bad it was. Yes, there were all sorts of things that people could observe and be like, that's pretty bad, but I was the one who was feeling that every day. It came down to me. The decision was mine. I had to learn to help myself, and I learned it the hard way. We've got sunshine now. You have to decide that you are worth it and that the pain that you're feeling is worse than the pain of change, because it can be quite overwhelming to decide you're going to make a big change in your life. I think Matt Haig talks a bit about this in his book Reasons to Stay Alive, which is like pseudo autobiography / self-help book. Absolutely brilliant book. In there he talks about how he had this fear, he had a lot of anxiety about how he had this anxiety of going on the train to Paris, I think, going on the Eurostar, and he realised that if he didn't go, he was giving into that fear and giving that fear too much power over his life. However scared he was of going on the train, the fear of letting that fear win was greater than letting the fear win. He was like, I don't want to look crazy, but if I act this way, that's not right, that's irrational. So the fear of appearing irrational was greater than the fear of actually doing the thing. So you have to get to a point, and you will reach this point, and it's just a matter of how long it's going to take or what it's going to take to get you there, but you will reach a point where your fear of carrying on the way you are is greater than the fear of change or the fear of starting something new. Same with starting this YouTube channel. It's quite scary to sit in front of a camera, stare at a lens and try and talk to people. It got to the point where my fear of not starting and just the fear of regretting it and looking back was greater than my fear of what if it's all a bunch of rubbish and a waste of time, or what if no one cares. That fear was trumped by the greater fear of, but what if I don't do it? Like that big what if. Have you ever had, a friend, your sibling, a cousin, family member, anyone, and you can see that they keep going back into that same abusive relationship or that toxic relationship. They keep putting themselves down even though they're amazing, and you know how amazing they are, but they just don't see it. You can't make them see. All you can do is be there and love them. They have to make the decision, okay, I'm fed up with this now, or I'm going to make a change. You can't do it for them. In the same way, no one is coming to save you. You have to be the one to help yourself. The next thing that you need to do is recognize that change is both easy and it's hard. It's both, and I will explain why. You will have experienced a similar thing with time, where maybe at the time when you're going through something, it feels like it's dragging on, but when you look back, it's short. I remember at school, like, there were some days which just dragged and dragged, and it was like, really, what is happening? Like, the time is going so slowly. You get to the end of the day and you look back and you're like, oh, I made it through the day. Time is just such a strange thing. In the same way that you look at time as both fast and slow, the same thing applies to change. It's both very easy and it's really hard. Gretchen Rubin, in her book The Happiness Project, talks a bit about this, how she talks about the days are long, but the years are short. Time, like change, is both one thing and another thing. It can be two contradictory things. And change is ridiculously hard, especially if you're used to living in your comfort zone. So for me, my comfort zone was drinking, my comfort zone was alcohol. It took, well, I'm not even going to go into what it took in this video to get through that and to make that change, but it was very, very difficult to step out of my comfort zone. But it was also easy. We talked a bit about the hard bit now, let's go on to the easy bit. In embracing the change and just completely leaning into it and being like, I have to do this, I have to make this change for my own health, for my own life. In embracing that change, it became easy. If you have a wider perspective, like, it's natural, it's normal, everything is changing all the time. The seasons change, we get older, we change, nothing is staying the same, and that's really hard, and I used to really struggle with this, but once you lean into it and accept it, it does get easier. It's basically a central tenet of Buddhism that suffering is caused by a lack of acceptance. You're causing yourself more pain by refusing to accept that you need help, accept that you need to change. You just need to lean into it. I know that's harder than just saying you need to change, but again, that comes back to no one is going to do it for you, no one is coming to save you. You have to make the choice that you're going to change, then you're going to do this for yourself. Now, yes, change is hard, but you can make it easier by starting with small things, and this is kind of what my channel is all about the little things you can do that will make a big difference. So if you're struggling with mental health issues, lack of motivation, lack of purpose or direction in your life, just start with the little things. I mean, like the tiny things, the things that you probably are taking for granted. So, have you had a shower today? Have you brushed your teeth? Have you eaten something? If so, congratulations, you are in a better place than I was a year ago. I was not showering, not brushing my teeth, not really eating, most of my calories were coming from alcohol. I still was able to make a massive change in my life, and I was able to help myself. I can do it. You can definitely do it. It's about the small steps that lead to bigger steps, that lead to big changes. If you're still here with me now, I want to give you some tough love. I didn't want to put this earlier in the video because I thought it might put people off. I don't know, maybe my tone has been harsher than I was planning, but this is where it's gonna get really harsh. You need to get over yourself. Yes, you're in pain. Yes, it's hard. It feels like it's never gonna end. You feel like your life is disintegrating in front of your eyes. You feel like it's hopeless. It's not. When you're in that state, you can easily slip into self-pity and it can become a vicious cycle that's just not serving you at all. It's not helping you feel better, but it's not always about feeling better. But that self-pity, it's also not helping you engage in like constructive thinking about why am I feeling this way, or what can I do, or where did this come from? The self-pity is just everything is awful, like just shut down, everything's awful. There's nothing I can do, like there's a powerlessness there as well, and that's just not helpful. You need to get over that and get through that, and I'm not saying that to be harsh, I'm just saying that because that's what I found worked. Like when I was getting through my addiction, there were times where I was like, oh my gosh, poor me, like why does it have to be me? It's so hard. But it's like, you know what, just get over it. Get over yourself. There is nothing special about you, Julia. And I think this is one of the best things about coming into recovery, and there are a lot of great things, but this is one of the best things, is that everyone is the same. No one is special. No one is gonna like pity you or be like, oh my gosh, poor you. Like, yes, people have sympathy. They have empathy even, because all these alcoholics, we all know what it's like, but there's not that self-pity. There's no sob stories. Everyone is in the same boat. If I sat at the dinner table with all my friends and family having a nice dinner, and I suddenly start talking about, oh yeah, you know, when I was drinking, I used to drink so much that I would be vomiting blood. It was really bad. Everyone might be like, oh, okay, that's very awkward. What I love about talking to other alcoholics is that all of you, I can say, oh yeah, I was vomiting blood, and all of you are sat there like, yeah, and I've done that, yeah. So what? Like, there's nothing special. You've all suffered in the same way and you can all relate to each other, but it's not about like how bad it was, and it's not about it being a competition of who suffered the most, because yes, there are varying degrees. There are people who nearly died with this, and there are people who are realizing pretty early on, actually no, I can't drink, I think this is a problem for me. There's a spectrum, but we can all relate to each other. I feel very fortunate to have that sense of community where the attitude is very much like, get over yourself, you're not that special. That doesn't mean that you're not special in a broader sense. You are unique and you are beautiful and you have so much to offer the world that other people can't. There is something in you that is unique. You should celebrate that. But I mean, get over yourself in terms of, yes, bad things have happened to you. They've happened to everyone. You need to get through that. Dwelling on that is not helping you. No one is coming to save you. You need to learn to help yourself. And part of that is getting over all of this horrible stuff that's happened to you or that you've experienced. Learning to say, yes, this has happened, but I'm going to choose to live for myself now, and I'm going to choose to help myself. There are small things that you can do right now that will help you instead of just sitting in self-pity. Do you love yourself enough to do those things? For me, something that I find helps me kind of get over myself a bit and really try and have a more objective view is journaling. I've done a couple videos on journaling actually. I will link them up here. Gratitude lists, like, I know I go on about it a lot, but it's so helpful and it will really make a difference in your life. And that's something you can choose to focus on that instead of focusing on the self-pity and the poor me, oh, my situation is so bad. Yes, I'm sorry, it is, but I don't know if I'm being too harsh here. I really just want to like drive home the point that you are not the one with no agency. You can decide to change your life. You are the only one holding yourself back in this whole thing. When you're saying, I can't do that, or I'm not good enough for that, or what? No, that's you. You're telling yourself that. That is not necessarily true. If all of this has been a bit harsh, there is one helpful strategy that is very kind to yourself that may help you. It's from Dr. Nicole LePera's book, How to Do the Work, which I've talked about before on my channel because I love it. But in it, one of the things she says is ask yourself, what can I do for myself in this moment? And that's a really small thing that you can maybe ask yourself right now and think, what can I do? Can I go have a shower? Can I go make myself a nice meal? Can I make my bed? Can I phone someone? Can I go for a walk? It's just small things. Can I go and make myself a cup of tea? Something small. What can you do for yourself in this moment? I challenge you to do something for yourself today. And please comment below if you do and what you do. I hope this video has helped you and that I've not been too harsh. I don't know if when I'm editing it I'll be like, oh my gosh, what am I saying? But I hope it's been helpful. No one is coming to save you. You have to be the one to make the decision to make a change in your life. It has to come from you. And it can. You might think, but I have no motivation. You do. There is a drive in you that you will not believe. I would not have believed that I would be in the position that I'm in today. You are a lot stronger than you realise, and I hope that you can come to acknowledge that. This week on my channel, I'm doing a daily video challenge, so I'm posting a video every day. If you would like to follow along, please feel free to subscribe. God bless, thank you for watching, and I will see you either tomorrow or I will see you in the next one.